Victor, just wait down the river. I shall open the bridge and return as soon as possible.
Just be quick, okay? I have a bad feeling about this.
I've been on a quest of late to play PlayStation 4 games on my PC that never got the PlayStation 5 upgrade. We are coming to the end of this stint, I promise you. We've seen games like Rage 2, Need for Speed Heat, even the Middle-earth sequel Shadow of War, which looked particularly gorgeous against that base-level PlayStation 4 version. Now, Zombie Army 4 is actually not a big offender on this front. Rebellion did us a solid and gave us an actual patch to optimize it for PlayStation 5 machines, or 9th gen. They did it across the board. It's full-blown 60 frames per second and 4K. We are not looking at that edition at the moment. We are on PC because I wanted to double check if there's a difference in graphics detail as opposed to resolution and frame rates. That one's a given. It's totally fixed on PS5 and I'm super happy with that. Remnant from the Ashes 1 did that. That's another one to make a note of. It's a very element and gore and effects heavy game, so I want to see if there's any improvement over on PC against our patched PlayStation 5 edition. And it turned out to be one of the tougher comparisons I've ever done, and I really don't think there's much in it, and I may be suffering from some 1080 crunch as well with the PC edition. It feels smoother and crisper and more detailed, but only you, the viewer, can probably tell me. Without further ado, let's get on with things. My name is Couch Coop, and this intro is a thank you to anybody who did their homework on the Sniper Elite 5 video. I wanted to explain from my perspective why I feel this game is so awesome still. 2020, no sequel rumours, and it is an online experience that is worth looking into. It's one of the few Rebellion games I've actually played with some mates, and it's blinding. Sheer panic, you get that sort of Call of Duty Zombies vibe, but because it's the third person action shooter, I think you've got to go to RE4 remake for as good a zombie experience with that third person mechanic. It's also got Rebellion's rigorous attention to detail, particularly with historic weaponry and the Second World War genre. And if you're into the Sniper Elite games, you know about that sort of cool camera where it goes into the slow-mo. You do get snippets of that if you line up a sniper shot correctly. It might have to be a testicle intrusion or even a headshot.
Stinklets.
There's some light comedy elements and some out-and-out Hellboy-like craziness going on with the story and characters. If you've played any of Strange Brigade, you'll know about that cool humour, self-awareness, and again, another good Rebellion third-person action ARPG. So Zombie Army 4 comes along with that pretty cool engine, a little bit of cover, hundreds and hundreds of zombies coming at you, historic awesome weaponry with a sort of twist on the sci-fi front with it all. There's like Tesla style electrical gadgets and quite a lot of comedy coming off the back of loads of the weaponry. It does have snippets of Sniper Elite in it with the long shots and the awesome scoped gunfire, and you do get the chance to get that amazing camera if you line things up correctly. And of course, if you play those games, you're well familiar with this engine, how all the movement works, button layout, everything. It's an extremely easy game to have fun with, either on your own or co-op. Okay, hold on to your fanny packs. We're now about to go over to the PS5 edition of this game. I want your eyes permanently peeled to see if there's any change in this graphical fidelity. Yeah, sorry, that was the wrong clip. This is PlayStation 5 Zombie Army 4.
If we can help Captain Dutton push back the dead, we may be able to secure the Venice base.
What I'm looking for is pixelation in the distance or even around the edge of the screen. I'm looking for evidence of a dynamic 4K. There isn't one. This is just absolutely beautiful. I'm looking at like shadow detail and explosion detail, flames, reflections in that water. Everything seems to be on the same level as the Ultra PC version. Zombie Army 4 is the exception to the rule with this video series, and it's glorious.
They're coming from the bridge!
Kill them! I can't move until the boat is clear!
Ammo reserves low.
A way to tell that we're looking at PS5 footage on this video is that the protagonist will have a camouflage gun. That saves me having to put a little bit of text in the bottom of the screen. High effort YouTubing, Coop. It just looks too busy. I'd rather have that flush UI. I wanted to talk about the game's absolutely phenomenal locations. It's almost like an Indiana Jones road trip, taking you to some amazing places in Europe, right in the middle of some of the conflict zones. And the whole thing's got a twist, like it's obviously gone wrong for the Nazis, and zombies have just completely taken over their whole army in real time. And that reminds me about homework that I was looking into for this video. And obviously I went to Dead Snow, and that just didn't age as well as I remembered it. They did not have a lot of budget, clearly, to make that film. And kudos to them though, because the sequel got huge amounts of money. Not sure if it's the same director, but if you're gonna watch one of those films, I may go to the sequel for just mass zombie Nazi killing action in the snow. It is ramped up to the maximum. There's also that Overlord, which is from J.J. Abrams' production house. I wasn't over the moon with it. I liked how it started. I liked the amount of money that was obviously spent on it and how the build works, but some of the CGI is a bit iffy. But hell, there's a lot of parallels with that and Zombie Army 4. I'm still viciously scrutinising these explosions, blood splatters, decapitation animations. I just cannot see anything that differs it from the Ultra PC version. Back to that Remnant from the Ashes mention, that went full 4K and 60 frames, right? Didn't sit on the SSD, and that is one thing I will talk about, is that the PlayStation 5 version of Zombie Army 4 still takes the earth to load. But that's alright, it doesn't do it all the time. This is not a Bloodborne situation, but it does stand out against the SSD PC version that I have from Game Pass. But my point on Remnant from the Ashes 1 is that the devs backtracked the update, and now it doesn't run at those spec. Someone told me about this in the comments a while ago, and that's something I'd love to check out, and I do own that game digitally as well, so maybe that's another video for the future.
Almost there. Please be patient.
There is still one more game missing from the series. You guys might be able to guess what it is. It was a little bit like Rage 2. It did involve a vehicle, and it was post-apocalyptic. Yes, Mad Max. Just briefly, whilst I've got this up, this is the DLC. I bought some of the extra maps, and they're absolutely amazing. They've got unique zombie types in them, and the maps are awesome, hence that intro. But this has got one great bit of comedy in it, and it just keeps you smiling, keeps you chuckling. We need a sequel, guys. What the hell? Put out and fall out now. We go back to the Zombie Army series, please. So just to keep things nice and confusing, we are back to the PC version of the game. Now, I do notice some very distinct detail on the protagonist when they're close to camera, on the blood splatters. I think I'm getting 1080 crunch with it. It just seems a lot more crisper on character. There's also something a little more snappy about it. I don't know if the PlayStation 5 version is maybe dropping some frames without me realizing when things get super busy, but I just feel slightly more confident with this PC version when there's a lot of stuff on screen. When I was putting that intro together, there is another scene with like a hand coming out the ground. It's pretty awesome. Hold on. I was going to go with this section of the map. It's in level 2, I think, and it's quite dramatic. It's a nice follow down. You can't sort of work out what it is. But on that frame rate subject thing, the PC version photo mode was a complete nightmare to get this smooth pan. I nearly gave up on this. What happens is when you lock your finger into position to get this movement to happen, you want it to be a consistent movement. When the game comes across a section within that photo pan that's busier than what you were looking at, your frames start to change, and that alters the ratio of where your thumb needs to be to keep that pan consistent. Guarantee people watch my videos and just think, what? It's just something moving up and down on a screen. It's actually a lot harder to get what you want to look as good as it should in certain areas of video games. But the PS5 version photo mode was a lot more workable. And obviously I went with that DLC level because you've got this almost medieval looking castle. Absolutely excellent stuff for an award-winning intro like The Keeps.
No more!
Are we back to the PS5 version? Yes, we are, just to keep things nice and inconsistent. And I suppose we could wrap the video up there. I wanted to put across what the message was for this showcase of Zombie Army 4, and it's that Rebellion are pretty damned awesome and are coming out with some really solid games and have a great backlog, which includes this, and you must check it out if you've never seen it before. Pretty sure it's over on PSN, and you also have it on Game Pass. Very recommended co-op. A lot of the scenarios and arenas are geared for more than one player, and you're just going to be in awe at all the hilarious alternate Second World War zombie-ridden history.
Oh, the fountain! It's absorbing their blood!
It must require tribute. Keep killing.
If you played Death Stranding, you'll know about the Nazi war level. This entire game is like that. Yes, there is a decaying, flesh-covered Nazi zombie tank.
And you must keep going.
I need to find a PC version of Mad Max, probably on Steam. It isn't on Game Pass, unfortunately, or Epic. I've had a good look through all of them. I will take codes if anyone's up for it. My name was CouchCoop, and I will see you down there.